I was trying on dresses at the mall when I got the call from Mr. Hayes. The dresses in this store were all beautiful, but I only liked this one particular style. Unfortunately, the ones I like always seem to get snapped up by someone else first. And I'm stubborn. Once I fixate on something, it's hard to look at anything else, no matter how silver-tongued the sales assistant is. I stick to my guns. Finally, it was back in stock. "What's up?" I asked happily, looking at the dress, already bagged and ready to go. "I'm out of money." Mr. Hayes' reply made my heart clench. How could he be out of money? "How much do you need?" I didn't ask why. I just hoped he was okay. Mr. Hayes hesitated. I don't know, really. Just, look, it's basically a bottomless pit over here. See how much you can transfer, just send whatever you can." I quickly pulled the phone away from my ear and told the sales assistant, "Sorry, I don't think I'll take the dress right now." "Give me your account number, I'll transfer the money now," I asked as I walked away. After hanging up, the account number arrived shortly. Without hesitation, I transferred all the money I had in my account to him, a total of $40,000. After 7 years of living away from home, this was everything I owned. I had been planning to use it as a down payment on a small apartment. Right now, my only fear was that it wouldn't be enough for him. Mr. Hayes and I aren't married, not boyfriend and girlfriend, not even childhood sweethearts. I first met him on July 16th, 2020. It was midnight. The sweltering heat of the day had faded, replaced by a chilling wind that seeped into your bones. Back then, I had just broken up with my first love, my clothing store wasn't doing well, and I was questioning everything. Sitting outside a bar, I was suddenly overcome with sorrow, sobbing uncontrollably. Fittingly, a light rain started to fall, mirroring my tears, growing heavier. Suddenly, an umbrella appeared over my head. He started with, "Miss, here's my ID, see? I'm not a bad guy." I instinctively glanced at it. Gavin Hayes, born in '92, a local guy. I found it a bit strange. Was this some new pickup line? He was persistent. "Miss, I'm really not a bad guy. The rain's getting heavier, let's not stay here." I booked a table, look, it's right over there. I followed the direction he pointed. I turned back to look at him and my heart skipped a beat. A head of fluffy blonde hair, sharp, chiseled features. He wore a red sweatshirt, the collar open, revealing a pink tank top underneath, his neck long and slender. He continued to explain, "Don't get the wrong idea. I'm a live streamer, these are my sisters. Look, my phone's streaming live right now." I looked over. He really was streaming with 1,000 people currently watching. Quite a few. As expected of a streamer, he really knew how to comfort women. "Miss, it's so cold, wear my jacket." He had already taken it off. It really was cold. I'd been so focused on my sadness that I only just realized I was only wearing a short-sleeved shirt. So I didn't refuse. I took the jacket and put it on. A faint, clean, fresh scent, not overpowering, pleasant. I liked it. I thanked him repeatedly. He reached out, briefly squeezed my fingers, then let go. This tentative gesture made me feel resistant one moment and reassured the next, lowering my guard considerably. "Where do you live? Let me take you home. My car's over there, come with me." Still crying, I followed him to the parking garage. So, we met by chance, and our relationship was casual, platonic. In the 2 years since, the most intimate thing we'd done was probably me helping him sell clothes on his stream once. That was the first time I appeared on his live stream. At the time, he was passionately involved with another beautiful girl. I was just cheap labor he'd roped in through sheer persistence, leveraging our 2-year acquaintance. Afterwards, he paid me $75. As he paid, he smiled and said, "We're even now." Then he turned, put his arm around his girlfriend, and left. I waved goodbye with a smile, silently watching them walk away before heading home alone. A part of me gloated internally. He's such a scumbag. Only a fool would fall for him, right? My phone vibrated, pulling me back to the present. I saw a string of horrified emojis from him. Then the phone rang. I answered, and before I could speak, he blurted out, "Ellie, are you crazy?" I froze, my hands and feet turning cold. He continued quickly, "Why did you send me so much? Aren't you afraid I'll just run off with it?" I chuckled, finally realizing he was messing with me. My head had been spinning before, but now, realizing the truth, fear crept in. Yet, deep down, I felt a sense of relief. "Didn't you say you needed money? So I gave you all I had," I said, playing along, though it was also the truth. "I was tricking you," he explained with a laugh. I was playing truth or dare with friends, and they dared me to ask a friend for money. I listened quietly, laughing when appropriate, agreeing when needed. All that mattered was that he was okay. That put my mind at ease. Soon, he transferred the money back. I replied generously, okay, borrowed and returned. We're even again. He didn't reply, but then I received a live stream invitation from him. I froze. What's this? I asked. Deep down, I understood and couldn't help but feel a flutter of joy. Gavin is an outdoor live streamer. Over the past 2 years, I'd watched all his streams. My takeaway was, don't get emotionally invested in these stream relationships. Whoever takes it seriously loses. Let's do a stream together? He asked, sounding a bit flirty, as if he was sure I'd say yes. Don't tell me. You couldn't find any other pretty girls to hit on, so you thought you'd use me as a backup? I asked, feigning coyness. No, tomorrow is May 20th. I specifically booked this time. Tomorrow, it's just you and me. I traced my finger over the phone screen, feeling inexplicably happy. Okay, I agreed readily. When it comes to liking someone, I don't hide it. If I have to compete, I won't back down. After all, I'm not bad myself, of course. That's assuming he likes me too. I have my own share of admirers, you know. Time, place, I asked. Tomorrow at 3:00 p.m. The place. I'll let you know. Okay, I agreed. Ding dong, a WeChat notification. It was a red envelope from him, 52. Such a tempting gesture, yet it felt like a bucket of cold water poured over me. This was the payment for being his leading lady. He sent it, I accept it, and we're even. I wanted to play dumb just this once, so I declined. No need. See you tomorrow at 3:00 p.m. then. After ending the chat, I immediately rushed back to the mall, wanting to buy the dress back to wear for the stream tomorrow. Oh, that dress. Someone just picked it up not even 3 minutes ago, the sales assistant emphasized, sounding slightly smug. I sighed in disappointment. Oh well, never mind then. What's meant to be mine will be mine. There's no point fighting for what isn't. How about looking at the new arrivals? She asked. No, thank you, I replied. The stream hadn't even started and it felt like I'd already lost. Time, 3:00 p.m. midnight. Location, downtown plaza. I asked Gavin why he chose this place. He said it was crowded, so the platform would give more traffic, naturally leading to more viewers. I paused, surprised by his answer. But it's a live stream, of course the goal is to get more traffic and attention. I quietly reminded myself, everything today is an act. Ellie, don't you dare take it seriously. In front of the camera, I wore a white t-shirt, my hair down, looking fresh-faced and clean. A slight smile, and my almond-shaped eyes curved into crescents. The comments scrolling by praised how beautiful my smile was. Put this on, who told you to dress like that? Gavin said, taking off his sequin jacket and insistently putting it on me. With a stern face, he buttoned it up tightly, meticulously careful, as if afraid I'd show even a tiny bit of skin. This is how a boyfriend should act, right? Too bad it's fake. He looked me over again, still not satisfied. So I suggested, why don't we go buy something together? My heart trembled. The feelings might be fake, but at least the matching couple's shirts could be real. A souvenir would be nice. He didn't object, readily agreeing. My mood brightened like the clear sky above, open, refreshing, clear. I took the initiative, holding his hand, and slowly walked backward as he held the selfie stick, filming me. I smiled at him. Gavin started acting a bit strange. His smile was as natural as ever, but occasionally his lips would tremble slightly, and his gaze towards me flickered. He was such a good actor, playing the innocent young man perfectly. No wonder so many beautiful women didn't dislike him. The car was the same one, a fiery red Ferrari, like a blaze. Gavin said driving a car like this out. I agreed. Beautiful cars and beautiful women have always gone together. I took the chance to ask him if, after all these streams, anyone had truly captured his heart. He answered very directly, no. I knew he wasn't lying. I lowered my head and gave a small smile. There were many places to buy clothes, but I only liked that one store, and only that one pair of matching couples' t-shirts. However, I have no sense of direction. I remembered the store was in downtown plaza, but forgot which entrance to use. But it was fine. Holding Gavin's hand, wandering around, didn't feel boring at all. I even threw out a couple of the livestream flirting lines he often used, laughing happily. He'd chase after me asking, when did you learn these lines? How can you say things like that? We've got a spy in the stream, no insider trading allowed. I'd banter back and forth, saying things like, I learned it from watching your stream last time, or playfully glare at him, whining, every time I see you hitting on Snow or Ruby, you use these exact lines, blah blah blah. Honestly, being with Gavin made me really happy. Actually, after struggling through the daily grind for so long, I'm past the age for romantic dreams. But being with him, I unconsciously got caught up in the role. Just like a perfectly designed scene in an idol drama, an unexpected encounter occurred. As we were walking around, I ran into someone from my past, my ex-boyfriend, Leo Smith. He was sharply dressed in a suit, looking lively and successful. It seemed the 2 years since we broke up had treated him well. Because of the live stream, I didn't greet him. Of course, ex-boyfriends should be treated as if they're dead, so there was no need to speak anyway. Eleanor, what are you doing here? Leo spoke first, offering a gentlemanly smile. Polite and courteous, still the same. Well-dressed snake. And this is, he looked at Gavin, hesitating, my boyfriend, Gavin Hayes. This is my ex-boyfriend, Leo Smith. I introduced them openly. Gavin knew about my ex. He looked at Leo and nodded politely. Let's go buy clothes. Gavin said, sensing my mood and trying to steer us away. I nodded and followed him. Up on the second floor, I was still a bit distracted. What's wrong? He asked me. I thought for a moment and replied, I want him to pay me back. How much does he owe you? He seemed surprised by my answer and asked with a smile. I said seriously, 10 pairs of socks, 5 pairs of underwear, and 2 jackets. Total, 90.75. Gavin burst out laughing, then exclaimed, 10 pairs of socks, 5 pairs of underwear, 2 jackets for just over $90. Where'd you buy them? Are they that cheap? I replied, of course if you need some, I can buy them for you too. The quality is decent. He quickly waved his hands, smiling as he answered, no thanks, my underwear costs $5 a pair and lasts a year. I gave him a playful shove, suddenly not wanting to talk to him anymore. I wasn't trying to compare clothing prices with him. What I really wanted to express was that my ex was completely out of my heart, to the point where even $90 felt like too much associated with him. We continued walking and eating. Besides the couple's t-shirts, there wasn't really anything I wanted to buy. And just strolling through the mall like this with Gavin, live streaming, felt novel and enjoyable. It felt like my little craving for romantic validation was being somewhat satisfied. So, I reminded myself again and again in my head, Ellie, don't get too caught up in this. Because of this, I would deliberately avoid his affectionate gaze. I knew it was fake, but it still affected me, so it was better not to look if I could help it. We arrived at a jewelry store, a place Gavin often visited with other female streamers. I admit I had a little playful scheme in mind. Does he like me or not? Might as well test it out. Let's stop here. I went to the counter and didn't want to leave, pointing at a bracelet below and smiling at him. On camera, my smile must have looked beautiful. After all, a pretty girl only needs a tiny bit of calculation to look stunning. Gavin looked at me, slightly stunned. He probably didn't expect me to come here, and to pick that particular bracelet. This bracelet wasn't expensive, maybe $30, but it came with a rule. It could only be gifted to one person in a lifetime. He had never given it to another girl before, not even his first love. I wanted to know if he would give it to me. You like it? He asked. The comments in the live stream chat were also egging him on, telling the streamer to buy it. I wasn't looking at the chat, only at him. The look in the eyes of someone you like is impossible to hide at a moment like this. Then let's get a pair, he said softly, calmly. There was no obvious emotional fluctuation, but I knew my heart skipped a beat. I didn't quite know how to respond, my face burning hot, my heart pounding fast. I cupped my face with my hands, my vision blurring slightly. Looking at Gavin's face so close, I couldn't resist leaning in and giving him a light kiss. He stared at me, stunned. I tossed my long hair back and said cockily, what got a problem with that? Maybe my kiss was too realistic. Maybe I was too invested in the performance. But in that instant, the live stream chat exploded. The viewer count shot up from the initial 1,000 to 5,000. We instantly hit the trending list for afternoon streams. Later, many of my friends saw it, including my parents, but that's another story. Sign here, the cashier handed Gavin a form. Where do I sign? Gavin asked. I eagerly pointed to the signature line at the bottom of the page. After signing this, does it mean I can never buy this necklace model to give to anyone else? Gavin asked with a smile. His eyes still held that deliberately flirty, unfazed look. After getting confirmation from the cashier, he seemed flustered and turned to the fans in the chat, shouting, "Oh man, I feel like I've been trapped. Should I gift it, guys?" he asked them. I started to dislike this, feeling like other things were getting mixed in. How about a different one? I pointed to a bracelet with a smiley face icon. It was cheap, only about 30. Actually, the first one was also around 30. The difference was, it required a signature and could only be gifted once. More reliable than a marriage certificate. Gavin, being the master flirt he was, immediately understood my implied meaning. All right, this one it is." He affectionately ruffled my hair, then said, "Worst case, I just won't bring any other girls here in the future." I beamed, pointing my finger. "Sign." He borrowed a pen. My heart pounded as I watched him sign 3 words in that space. Gavin Mutt Hayes. Just those 3 words were enough. In that moment, I felt like I was truly his girlfriend. We were moving towards each other, mutually. My past 2 years hadn't been wasted waiting. Satisfied, I took the necklace, thinking, I'll just be with him for today, just be his girlfriend for one day. Starting tomorrow, forget it, I thought I could do it. After that, we visited clothing stores, shoe stores, and bubble tea shops. Neither of us was short on money, but we didn't actually buy much. I especially enjoyed just holding his hand and walking. When tired, we'd buy a bubble tea, lean against a wall with a bench, resting. I leaned on him, he leaned on me. I sniffed the slightly greasy smell from his hair, gave him a light slap, and half joked, "Didn't wash your hair today, did you?" He grinned widely. The livestream now had 10,000 viewers, comments flying by, but we ignored them all. Just then, a beautiful woman walked past us. "Holy crap, no way?" Gavin exclaimed in astonishment. I figured he probably wanted to flirt. I felt annoyed but put on a brave face. "Go on then, try flirting, see if she'll give you her number." Gavin blinked and said, "I think she looks a bit like my first girlfriend." Huh. Seriously? Gavin had mentioned his first love on stream more than once. It was tied to his past experiences. "Wanna go say hi?" I said, pretending to be generous. The fans in the chat, however, went wild, spamming things like, "Old dog, don't look," "Don't flirt with other girls in front of Ellie." I smiled in thanks, but I could tell Gavin still wanted to. Saying it doesn't matter, but deep down, there's still lingering regret, right? "I'm doing well now, would you come back?" Or perhaps, "I don't believe you left me just because I was poor back then." Just like how I liked Gavin. Over 2 years, unknowingly, it went from shallow to deep. I admit his looks are lethal, but his appearance isn't the reason I'd throw caution to the wind. It's that he understands which women to mess with and which ones not to. Having a face that could devastate nations, yet not causing trouble with it, that's rare. I was waiting for him to settle down. He was waiting to become wealthy. Actually, he was already very wealthy, but that old wound needed a lot of money to heal. "Let's go, I'll go with you," I made the decision. A round table, the 3 of us forming an odd triangle. The woman was indeed his first girlfriend, Jasmine Alderwood. A common name, but she was genuinely beautiful. She had that sophisticated, high-fashion look. Sitting at the same table, drinking the same kind of bubble tea, she just radiated an air of superiority. It was the kind of refinement nurtured from being adored since childhood. The favored one always stirs up trouble, right? "Your girlfriend?" Jasmine Alderwood asked, looking at me. "Oh, she's my sister," Gavin replied. I forced a smile, taking a sip of bubble tea to swallow the bitterness in my heart. "See? Don't overthink it. Today is just acting alongside Gavin. Take it seriously and you lose." The thought made me feel even sadder, but I didn't leave. It was still early, and I also wanted to hear their story. When old enemies meet, sparks fly. A few jabs were inevitable. "What have you been up to these years? Still fishing for old rich guys?" Gavin asked teasingly, his words dripping with barbs. "Yeah," Jasmine Alderwood admitted freely. "Gavin Hayes, I didn't expect that after 5 or 6 years you're still such a chump." I saw a flicker of disappointment in Gavin's eyes, but it vanished quickly. "I'm still a chump," he retorted with a smile. "Yeah, back in university when you pursued me, you rented a bus." Bringing up the past, Jasmine still looked disdainful. "Yeah, and you weren't impressed, right? Stood me up and ran off with some guy in an Audi." Gavin recounted the past event with a smile, but I saw his hand resting on the table tremble slightly. "You promised to charter a vehicle. I thought it would at least be a BMW, but it turned out to be a public bus." "I couldn't afford that kind of embarrassment," Jasmine said, her tone somewhat proud. "But we were university students then, and my family wasn't well off to begin with. Renting that bus meant eating instant noodles for ages to save up." He spoke of it laughingly, but his light tone clearly held a tremor. The atmosphere between them grew tense. I tried to smooth things over, asking Jasmine, "Are you married now?" I was also asking for Gavin. In my view, if he couldn't let go and there was still a chance, he should seize it. After all, he wasn't doing badly now. He had the car, the house, the money, and I was also curious. How would Jasmine react if she knew Gavin now drove a Ferrari? "No," Jasmine replied with a cold smile already forming. "I really have no feelings for your boyfriend." I was surprised. A woman's intuition is sharpest. If she truly felt nothing, why hold on to something from years ago with such resentment? Perhaps she still thought Gavin was poor. Besides, my upbringing is very strict. My parents wouldn't approve of me being with a live streamer, she stated bluntly. I could feel a sharp knife twisting in Gavin's heart. The fans in the chat also started posting hostile comments. Gavin didn't respond. "Hey, Ellie, are you messing with me?" Gavin said in a joking tone. "That thing with her was ages ago. It's long gone. You're deliberately testing me, aren't you? Besides, she only likes older guys. A scumbag like me isn't her type." His tone was flirty, slightly sarcastic. Perhaps because his ex-girlfriend and current girlfriend were sitting together, it drew attention. The number of viewers in the stream kept increasing, reaching over 20,000 online simultaneously. The conversation reached a dead end, and all three of us seemed bored. Jasmine maintained her proud posture, saying generously, "Let's go back. Gavin Hayes, I'll give you a chance. Take me home." That single sentence shattered the already poor impression I had of Jasmine. Today, Gavin belonged to me. What right did she have to take him away? Losing the dress I loved was due to first come, first served. But I had already paid for this time, so she should have the decency to leave. Of course, Gavin wasn't a dress, and love has never been first come, first served. "Okay, I'll take you," Gavin agreed. I saw the fans in the chat frantically spamming curses at him, calling Jasmine a trashy woman and Gavin a simp, along with comforting messages like, "Ellie, dump this guy." I checked the time. It was only 5 p.m, we hadn't even had dinner. "You go ahead then. I'll wait here for you." I looked at Gavin and smiled faintly. The day wasn't over yet. As his girlfriend, I should unconditionally stand by him now, trust him, and give him face. Besides, with so many fans watching, I wasn't afraid he'd ditch me. Gavin paused, then said, "Okay, Ellie, you order first. I'll take Jasmine home and be right back." They left one after the other. I quietly took out my phone and opened Gavin's livestream. The chat was still filled with curses. I felt a pang of sympathy for Gavin. Finally meeting his first love again, having a chance to clear the air about things left unsaid back then, only to have it broadcast live like this. The moment Jasmine saw the Ferrari, her expression visibly froze. I imagine her mind must have been reeling. The poor guy she looked down on back then had actually become a self-made success. Once in the car, Jasmine sat in the passenger seat. I noticed her attitude had softened and a smile appeared on her face. "Is this car yours?" she asked. "Yeah," Gavin replied with a smile. "Rented, right?" She didn't believe it. How could the poor kid from back then afford such an expensive sports car? Gavin's face lit up with pride, the trace of self-consciousness in his eyes easing. "Bought it. Bought it with the first million I earned from streaming." He tapped the steering wheel with his hand. The car started, the engine roaring as if showing off. In the car, Jasmine started reminiscing about the past, clearly dropping her pretentious act. The livestream chat was filled with comments like "two-faced schemer," "old dog, ignore her," "trashy woman," etc. Seeing so many people cursing her out, I secretly typed "little minx" myself. It felt like clearing a lump stuck in my throat. So satisfying. The car stopped at an intersection. As she was about to get out, Jasmine became noticeably coy. "Let's go hang out somewhere. It's still early, I don't want to go back just yet." Her words were heavily implied, loaded with suggestion. Outside the screen, I, the official girlfriend, was genuinely furious. How could such a woman exist? Without the Ferrari, she acted so high and mighty. With the Ferrari, she did a complete 180. It's people like her who ruin the reputation of pretty girls. Gavin thought for a moment, then said something I'll never forget. He said, "Jasmine, this is far enough. We should end it here." Back then, I spent money to charter a whole bus, and you wouldn't even give me the time of day. Now you see I have a Ferrari, and you stick to me like glue. If I agreed today, went somewhere with you, or if something happened between us, I feel like I couldn't face my past self, and I definitely couldn't forgive myself. I was very satisfied with this answer. Many fans later joined his stream because of this incident. Society is like a giant dye vat. People are tossed in like dumplings, dyed all sorts of colors, then swept away by endless desires, becoming the people they used to hate. But no matter what, you can't lose your original intentions, you can't lose genuine feelings. That's fundamental. The two parted on bad terms. I grinned like an idiot in front of the screen, feeling vindicated and happy, waiting for Gavin to return. He came back quickly. Compared to before, his face seemed less guarded, his star-like eyes deep and serene. Food arrived, the stream continued. He sat on the outside, only showing half his head, giving me the main frame. I offered him a piece of chicken I had already taken a bite from. He opened his mouth and took it. We looked at each other and smiled. Perhaps some of the female streamers Gavin had previously streamed with had entered the chat, as comments like "insider trading," "transaction prohibited" started appearing. I laughed heartily, then said generously, "I don't care who Gavin was with before. Today, he's mine. As for the future, I don't know. But regardless, I need to be the main wife in this harem." Gavin laughed loudly, resting his head on my shoulder and nuzzling it. I held his head, pressing our cheeks together. On screen, we laughed, shouted, exchanged playful banter. I had forgotten this was a live stream show. One drink, half iced, half room temperature, mixed together. We raised our glasses for a toast, wishing each other, "Happy 520. A comment flashed by. "Dog, Ellie's too beautiful for you. You can't handle her. Let big bro take over." Gavin leaned on my shoulder, declaring his claim. "Get lost," I cracked up, shouting along. "Kick the top donor out," the fans in the chat interacted nonstop. The live viewer count kept climbing, reaching 50,000, with the total viewership exceeding 1 million. That night, Gavin was huge after dinner. We wandered around, took a walk, watched a movie. Time flew by, and suddenly it was 9 p.m. Time to wrap up. Walking outside the plaza, the dim yellow streetlights were already on. I was dressed in white, with light makeup, naturally beautiful. Gavin looked at me, let out a sigh of admiration, then said, "You really can't dress like this." I seriously can't stand looking at it anymore. In the comments, someone declared for me, "From today on, I'm only watching Ellie." "Old dog Hayes, if you dare get ambiguous with another girl again, I'll fly over and beat you up. Ellie is so great, please don't end the stream." I turned my face away, hiding the moisture welling in my eyes, putting back on the facade of not liking Gavin. Gavin suddenly leaned close, sniffing near my neck. I felt ticklish but didn't resist, still talking casually. I looked at myself in the camera lens, eyes calm, expression composed. "See? I just don't feel anything." In reality, my heart was pounding so hard it felt like it would jump out of my mouth. "What are you doing? We're live." I glared at him. Gavin probably realized his impulsive behavior, laughed awkwardly, then said, "No way, I absolutely have to buy you a t-shirt today, otherwise life is unbearable." I laughed heartily, replying, "It's fine, I'll wear yours, you wear mine." "No, what about after today is over?" he pressed. "I'm talking about the future." I rolled my eyes at him. "None of your business, scumbag." Once in the car, feeling a bit petty, I took out perfume from my bag and sprayed the seat cushion before sitting down. In the car, we still faced the camera, acting affectionate. The strong force of acceleration pushed me back into the seat, snapping me out of my fantasy. I paused, then replied somewhat politely, "No, I was just saying that randomly." Can you sing?" I looked at him, smiling. "Sing. Sing what song?" he asked. I grinned from ear to ear, saying half coquettishly, "Sing, a confession song." "A confession song? Let me think." My heart was in my throat. I stared intently at Gavin. "How about I Like You?" he said. I thought he was asking me, so I mustered the courage to reply, "Haven't I made it clear enough?" "Clear enough," he answered. "It's just I like you. I can't sing it, but I can say it." I blinked, then covered my forehead and started laughing. Couldn't tell if it was real or fake, but I felt quite happy. Ellie, have you dated anyone in the 2 years we've known each other? He asked me. I thought, don't you know best whether I've dated anyone or not? No, I replied. What, you haven't dated in 2 years? He asked in surprise. Why not? Someone in the comments typed, everyone else pretends to like the dog, only Ellie pretends not to. In that instant, my hidden heartache was seen through by an outsider. The car stopped downstairs from my apartment building. The stream was still live, viewer numbers soaring past 100,000. You didn't need to think hard to know tonight's stream would be tomorrow's hot topic. Gavin's career would likely flourish from here on. I reminded myself, sleep on it, then forget it. Under the cover of the live stream, I'd spoken a lot of truths. He seemed to have been speaking falsehoods the whole time. I turned coolly and headed straight upstairs. Hey, Ellie, he suddenly called out to me. My heart skipped a beat. I turned back to look at him. What's wrong? He held up 2 fingers, smiling at me. I thought he was posing for a picture, so I took out my phone to snap one. 2 million, he shouted. I froze, staring at him. Ellie, when I've earned 2 million, I'll quit streaming, trade the car for a business van. If you're still single then, let's be together. Okay? He asked loudly. Ellie, I like you, his voice echoed, loud enough for the whole building to hear. I was startled, unsure if he was joking or serious. Okay, I answered, tears welling up in my eyes. I desperately wanted to run over and hug him, throwing caution to the wind. But I wasn't a young girl anymore. I understood that between love and time stood not just each other, but also money. Otherwise, promises are just promises. Even if we got together, it would likely end in a mess of petty problems. I'd been hurt once, I didn't want to be hurt again. Besides, could I really accept Gavin as he is now? Perhaps he understood this too, which is why he never really pursued me. Maybe he liked me too. Plip, a tear fell. In a flash, I came back to myself. I'm not waiting for you, I'll start dating next year at the latest, Gavin waved at me. Then next May 20th, let's be together again. I smiled happily, gave him an okay gesture, sealing the pact. Another May 20th arrived. Gavin and I hadn't been in touch for a long time. This past year, I worked hard, frantically earning money, cutting off all unnecessary social interactions. Finally, I earned enough for my first home. Walking past downtown Plaza after work in the evening, I ran into Gavin again. Ellie, what are you doing here? He greeted me immediately. I occasionally checked up on Gavin over the year, but because that previous stream had become so popular, I had become the white moonlight of Gavin's stream in the eyes of his fans, an idealized figure from the past. I didn't want people saying I was leeching off his popularity, so I avoided him whenever possible in real life. The fans in the stream recognized me immediately. I looked at him, my throat tight. I quickly covered my forehead, forcing a smile to hide my feelings. It's nothing, I just saw you with her and Did you miss me? He asked, looking at me intently. The beautiful woman next to him looked at me too. I was instantly flustered, mixed feelings churning inside me. Of course I miss you, but what are we? Having your arm around a hot girl while saying you like me? No. I turned my head away, giving him the side eye, a brief silence. I'm going home. My voice trembled slightly as I broke the stalemate first. He looked at me silent, I waved at him. Bye. Then I turned and walked away without looking back. He didn't stop me. I arrived home safely, woke up the next morning to a new day. I flipped the page on my bedside calendar and only then realized it was already May 21st. I sat frozen on the edge of the bed for a long time. Suddenly, the phone rang. It was Mom. My family had arranged a blind date. I saw the guy's photo and without hesitation replied to the message, "We can give it a try."